Hey everyone, you're listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap romance novels while taking you through the labyrinth of our imaginations and laughing our faces off. We're ladies having the best time together. This week, we heard there was some big rumblings happening on TikTok. Apparently, the next generation has discovered the Ice Planet Barbarian series, and we are over the moon delighted about it. In honor of this huge event, we're re-releasing our episode on Book 7, Barbarians Mate. Oh my gosh, and make sure to listen to Ice Planet Podcast, where Danny from Black Chick Lit recaps the whole series with guests from Romancelandia. Erin and I got to be on it. But now, we need to transport you to a world of little glowing worms and queefing out your IUDs and humming bosoms and sweaty leather and jizzing in your loincloths and giant human-eating birds and sex papooses. That's right, it's Barbarians Mate by Ruby Dixon. Enjoy! Hi, Erin.
Hi, Melody. I'm sorry, I'm still sick.
That's okay. So, do you want to know what happened to me this week, or at least in my house this week?
It happened in your house, but not to you?
Actually, it happened not in my house and not to me, but, it's off to a great start.
What did we say? When we sat down, I said, do you have banter? And then you went, and then you got this look on your face and then you went, yes. And I said, it's going to be weird, isn't it? Like a thought you got stuck in your head or like a bagel seed that you couldn't deal with anymore. And do you remember what you said to me?
Nope.
You said it wasn't weird.
I know. I don't think I made that promise. I don't think I can ever make that promise, Erin.
Well, you did. You said it wasn't weird. And you said that it would please the listener.
Oh, no. That was before I came up with the second banter. I have two banters. The first one might be weird. Okay. So
let's start weird.
Okay, cool. We're potty training. Ember is potty training. And I am a forgetful mom. And so last week, he went to the park with his grandfather, who we call Ye, because he is the paternal grandfather. So in Mandarin, that's Ye. And they came back earlier than they normally do. And I'm looking up from like changing Valor's diaper or something. And I was like, I look at Ember and he's like waddling inside and his whole inside of the pants is just completely wet. Because I totally forgot to put a diaper or a pull-up on him when he left, right?
Okay.
Bad news bears. So then this week, I was like, I'm going to keep it together. I'm going to be such a great mom. And then I sent him to the park without a pull-up on again. Oh. And so then I realized this like an hour later. And I'm like, well, they haven't really said anything. So I bet it's fine. Then they come back in. And I was like, oh, Ember, do you need to pee? Like immediately. First thing I said to him. He throws his arms out. And he goes, I did. I said, oh, okay. Oh, good. Are you're dry? And he was like, yes. Yeah, gave me permission to pee in the dog park.
Incredible.
So
maybe I'll be so free.
Right? I know. They went over to the corner of the dog park. I would like permission
to pee in the dog park.
Same.
Be nice.
Although, can you imagine how confused those dogs are going to be the next day? Being like, what the fuck, man? I thought only dogs marked this place. No, not anymore.
No.
Ember has been there, you guys. So that's the first one.
That wasn't that weird. That was a really normal Melody banter.
There we go. Good.
It's a parenting banter. That's one of our standard banters.
It is. I mean, it's a lot of my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about, I don't even want to throw out a percentage because I think it's either going to be wrong or way too right.
It's like banter is usually parenting, a thought Melody had, like a weird thought, like a bagel war. Like, am I wrong here? I like to eat nachos in the bathtub. Like just weird shit. Ways I got injured. Or
ways
dog
you got
stuff.
injured is a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I perforated my eardrum this week, guys.
You did.
We could have done that.
I know, you poor thing.
Call me one headphone Sally, because I can't hear out of the other one. Is that a nickname people have? One headphone
so.
Sally?
Yeah, one
my
headphone
DJ name.
Sally is really going to do it for us, I think. It's going to take us to the next level.
The hippest new DJ out there, one headphone Sally.
I have some actual related to the book banter and a confession.
Ooh, a confession.
Yeah, here's my confession. Listener, I'm coming at you with no notes. Erin. Erin is responsible for the plot for this book. And
I remember a day. I'm going to say it was yesterday. Do you remember this day? Yesterday?
Vaguely.
It was Saturday. Wait, no, Friday. What day did I fly home? Friday. So we were going to record at 4 a.m. on Saturday, but on Friday I had been, it was just a bad day. I was sick. I perforated my eardrum. The night before I was up all night on over-the-counter, what's the, not over-the-counter, the one that you have to ask the pharmacist. Yeah, prescription Sudafed.
There we go.
Because I took that and I was like wired. I was like, meth. I was like up all night.
Yeah.
And I was just feeling not good. And do you remember when you said like it was okay that I should get some rest and not to worry about it, and you would take good notes this week? Do you remember that?
No. Yeah.
Vaguely. I have the text.
I remember telling you that way earlier in the week, and then everything got derailed. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I did say, hey, don't worry that you have only read half of the book by
that was right because
Friday
that was
night.
Thursday. Because I said I haven't read the book yet. That's right. That's correct. You're correct.
So today I was like, hey, Erin.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's going to be super fresh for you because I need you to be responsible for major plot points. I cannot. And here's why, you guys.
I remember it.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to remember stuff as we go.
Welcome to my world.
Here's the thing. I read this book super early, and this is number 7. Today, listener, Professionalism in 2019, we are reading, The Barbarians Mate. Barbarians Mate by Ruby Dixon.
And it is book number 7.
It is 7.
The series is called Ice Planet Barbarians.
Right.
And I always think it should have another word in it, like Ice Planet Space Barbarians, or like Sex Planet Ice Barbarians, or like something else in the, like, doesn't the cadence just sound better to have like another?
Barbarians. Fucking you're real good. like colon. There should be a colon in there, you know?
I keep calling it Ice Planet Sex Barbarians or Sex Planet Ice Barbarians in my head.
Well, that's not what it's called.
We're reading book 7. So we've had this on our list for a long time. Then I went to KissCon and Sarah McLean went through it in a very vivid way in her Bananas Books panel. Or I was like, oh man, I really need to get to that. And then I mentioned it to somebody that we were going to get to those. And then Danny from Black Chicklet was around and she was like, oh, don't do the first one because there's like a very graphic gang rape. Because we had just done, I didn't know at the time, we hadn't done 99% Mine yet. And I'd heard that one was dark. Turns out that was wrong. Yeah. But then right before that, we did Eyes of Silver, Eyes of Gold, which also had like a very intense like rape scene in it. I just didn't want to keep traumatizing everybody. So Danny said we should do book 7, Barbarians Mate. So that's the one we did.
Cool. And I read this one like, I think Monday. And I think, Erin, my catnip, my just must nom all of it is quick read, like totally bonkers alien erotica / romance.
Look what we've learned in the year and a half that we've been doing this thing.
I know.
Here you thought you were here for something totally different. Right. And it turns out
I find out what I love is societies built on double penetration and surprise spurs. We'll get to that, listener.
You left out the incest, but we'll roll with it. Societies built on double penetration, incest.
Hashtag cousin stuff. Anyway, so I read this one, number 7, on like Monday. And then I was like, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reread number 7, and then I'm going to take really good notes. And as a treat, as a reward, I'll buy number 1 and I'll read that. And then, just like all of the rules I make for myself, I said to myself, Self, do you really need to do that before you give yourself the reward? And then I didn't do it. And I just read the first one, thinking to myself, you know what? After this, I'm going to take the notes. And then the moment that I got done with number 1, I was like, but I have to know Liz's story. I have to. And so I bought number 2.
Then you read number 2.
And then this kept sort of happening.
It kept sort of happening.
Through, I think, book 4 this week. So I don't have notes, but I am going to be real deep in history.
You're like a scholar
and color
of
commentary.
this planet.
I am.
I'm
a
historian.
Scholar. Ask me. I'll tell you.
All right, because I have questions. Because I thought I read the first one a long time ago, like a long time ago.
You didn't.
Like post podcast, but like maybe a year ago because it came up in our Alaska book club.
Yeah,
but I don't remember some.
There's
of
not a
this
single way. There's not a single
stuff.
way you did. You would
No,
know.
I did.
No, you would know.
No, I think I read the Christmas one.
Probs. Yeah, sure.
Which one is the Christmas one? Have you read that one yet?
That's 3.5 question mark?
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So here's the deal, guys. There's a bunch of ladies.
Oh,
from
man.
Earth.
Yeah.
7 of them, I think.
There's a dozen of them.
Yes, a dozen of them. They were somehow captured by bad aliens.
Here's the thing I love about this universe, okay? What she does, Ruby, our beautiful high priestess Ruby, she validates all of the little green men stories that UFOers on planet Earth currently, the actual UFO people, tell. And so all these ladies wake up all of a sudden with like little green men going beep boop bird click like burp, 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 and they're
beep boop bird click.
That's it. Their language sounds like chirping birds. All right,
I got you. I'm here. Yeah. I get it. It's like signs when they're like.
That's the one. Yeah. Except like caw, just tossed in there. You know,
that's not a click. Anyway, all right, okay, just keep. I don't know why I'm obsessing over this. You say lots of weird things. Just keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
they wake up. They're getting probed.
Yeah, they're taken by these little green men. And what they essentially find out is that they're taken from Earth. None of them have any like close family or anything like that. So it's unlikely that they'll really be missed. And then they are going to be sold into slavery. So we are stepping into this in book 7. It is a year and a half after they landed. A metric fuck ton has happened, and all of it is awesome. It's not true. I mean,
here are the things you need to know.
Right.
I know the things you need to know because I only read 7.
Yeah, she knows it.
These ladies were on the bad alien ship. Somehow that ship like crash landed or like purposefully landed. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter.
And don't worry, guys. I'm going to do a Patreon episode on all the things I've read as well.
Sure.
So tune in.
So
Patreon.
All those aliens, bad guy aliens, I think raped all the ladies. There's some trauma there for sure.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Whatever it was traumatic. Okay. So now those bad aliens, they're dead. And these 12 ladies are on an ice planet. Full of barbarians.
Real good.
Yeah.
And they've got some parasites that are actually symbionts. So, and they're taking care of them. So this planet.
I'm doing
I'm sorry.
Beep bop bird chirp. This is my segment. And it's stuff you need to know about the planet.
Right. Bing boom bong. Stuff you need to know.
Nope, it's beep bop bird chirp now. We've changed it.
Sorry.
Sorry, loyal listener. Your whole world has changed. The sounds are different now. So we're on this planet. It's an ice planet full of barbarians. They're blue. They're tall. They have tails. They whip around. They've got horns. The horns are sharp,
like a
but
ram.
not so sharp that they would scare you.
Yeah, like they curl around their head. Yeah, they say that multiple times.
Little ones on the forehead, like
No,
devil-y ones.
It's like a ram, and so it hooks all around their head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. When these aliens are going down on you, you can use these horns to steer.
Yeah, you can. Like a bicycle.
Anyway, So each of these big blue aliens has a symbiotic parasite sort of thing in their chest, and it keeps them alive.
It rewrites some of their DNAs.
Sure. And then also that parasite will fall in love with another parasite.
The parasite.
And that's called
what they do.
Resonance.
Yeah, what they do is they can figure out the mate that will make you the strongest babies. And so when each one of them recognizes that in the other host, and then all of a sudden, when things fall into place, they start like humming in your chest because they're like curled around your heart, or maybe they're in your heart parts. I am not actually super sure about where they go in like the biped body. Anyway, they're right in your heart parts, and they go, they start humming, and then they start.
I couldn't not hear it. I could not hear a dishwasher noise every time it happened.
No,
that's all I could think of.
Washer noise from the poop robot. Yeah.
Anyway, call back. Okay, so your parasite falls in love with somebody else's parasite. So when these ladies got here, they were in pods of some sort. They got them out of the pods. Then they could only survive a week out of the pods, but with a they need to put a parasite in them. So they put parasites into all the ladies. Also, all the females on the ice planet are dead from a disease of some kind.
So they call the parasite a cooey.
Yeah, it's called a KHUI, but the girls call it a cootie, which is
because that's
annoying.
Hilarious. You know what? No. In book 7, it's annoying because of the heroine's voice. In the rest of them, it's actually not that annoying. Or maybe I got used to it. I don't know. Maybe I Stockholm syndrome myself about the cootie. But I think Josie was just annoying.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
I just love that at the same moment I said annoying, you said hilarious. And that is why we're different. Okay. All right, so do you think that's enough setup?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
So it's a year and a half afterwards. A lot of the cooeys resonated like on first sight. So the ones who haven't resonated up to this point are getting a little desperate. And Ruby is talented in making that show in the heroine's voice. Because bitch is desperate AF.
Because this is the most desperate heroine I think we've ever encountered. Except for Douglas in a knight in shining armor, because that bitch was desperate. Like
that bitch would settle for anything.
Yeah.
So we're at a campfire.
Josie, of the ladies, she is the last to resonate. She's not resonated with any of the aliens. She's the last lady with no babies and no alien husband. She's sitting at the campfire and she's like, God damn it. I know that the reason that I haven't resonated is because I have an IUD inside of me. And it's preventing my cootie from singing at another cootie parasite. I can't believe it. Sometimes I just cannot believe I'm saying these words.
Yeah, because you have to be fertile in order for the cooeys to like even care.
So then she's just chilling out.
Yeah.
Hanging out by the campfire.
She's getting painted because there's a celebration because one of the couples are fucking in a cave because they just resonated. No.
Tiff.
Something you Tiffany. Her best friend. Hey, Tiff.
There was this woman I used to know that I didn't like whose name was Tiff, and I always called her Tiff.
I know.
I can't not do it. Okay, all right. Anyway, so she's just chilling out.
And then she stands up. I was going to say, click, something... She just queefs out her IUD. All of a sudden, the IUD hits the floor like it's at the club. And,
oh my God. Sorry, I've been waiting 3 days to hear that noise when that IUD came out. I was just like, gross. Your vagina just spit out its IUD. It's so gross.
Well, she thinks that maybe her cooey had been working on expelling it for forever because it was like, it recognized that there was something impeding her fertility.
Yeah.
And that's like all the cooey wants in the whole wide world is more biracial babies.
All right. You want to hear about Hayden?
Oh, yeah, I do. I always want to hear about Hayden.
Josie's our heroine. Hayden is our hero. She doesn't like Hayden because he's surly and quote unquote mean to her. However, we never see this in practice. I have no idea what Josie's fucking problem with Hayden is.
So from what I've seen from the other books, there's always a little bit of setup for the next couple.
Okay.
And I didn't actually get to it. What I should have done is read book 6 and then started back at 1.
Okay.
Because I would have seen more of Josie. Because the whole premise of book 6 is that everybody's hitting on Tiffany, and Tiffany is really, really traumatized by, all the rapes that happened.
Sure.
And so Josie is a good friend, and she sets up like this sort of tournament thing to keep the dudes who are hitting on her busy and at bay. They have to do these games. And I'm pretty sure that you get to see Hayden, at the very least, reacting to Josie, because Hayden is super closed off. Hayden is not social. And you see that from book 1. He also he doesn't like people who talk a lot, and Josie never stops talking. And a lot of times what he does is huff and then leave the room anytime Josie says anything. So she's just like, man, this fucking guy hates me. I'm not even sure why he hates me. He just has a problem with me. It's super dumb. He's the only man on this planet who doesn't seem interested in mating or being social or being fun.
Right. And by man, you meant ice planet sex barbarian alien.
Colin, fucking you're real good.
Dick with a prong on it. We'll get there. All right. Okay. Here's Hayden. He's at the campfire. Hayden. My least favorite person in both of the Sakui caves. That's what the aliens are called. The Sakui. All right. He looks pissier than usual, which is kind of a feat for him. If he wasn't such a dick, maybe he'd be handsome. Maybe. He's big, of course, and heavily muscled like all the Sakui men. He's got big, arching, curling horns. Oh, it did say curling.
Didn't it?
I herbs it. Jutting from his forehead like a ram on crack.
Like a ram.
I herbs it. I highlighted it and herbs it. That's talenting. Talenting? God.
It is talenting. Yeah.
You know what? It's a word now. I did it. Congratulations to me.
Good job, Erin.
Thank you. He's got pale blue skin and his forehead is covered with thick, platy ridges that should make him look like a mutant, but only emphasize how strong the rest of his features are. And he's got the long black hair of the Sakui, but it sounds like a sneeze, kind of. And he wears his hair shaved on the sides and one extra long braid over the top down his back.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I had to take a quick pause because I don't know why that particular haircut is so hot to me. And I don't know.
Shaved on the sides and then a top knot that is a long braid down his back.
Listen, so I think it's because it dates back to an early crush, an early and never consummated crush. There was this guy, and he had everything shaved.
This is a real guy?
Yeah, his name was Kale.
Uh-huh.
And he was all shaved all around. Was it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Kale Freeman, right? Kale?
Yeah, please say his full name.
Oh, no, I'm going to have to text my mom. Anyway, so, and he had this, little tiny ponytail before, man buns were a thing. He never did a man bun. But I don't know, man. There is something
I think a lot of guys in, the late 90s had, the shaved on the bottom ponytail on the top going on. I definitely remember that.
I don't know.
Being a thing.
I don't know why it works for me so much.
I remember that
does.
hairstyle often paired with a Limp Bizkit t-shirt or
that tracks.
A Slipknot or a Jinko.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And he was always pulling up his pants, even though he was wearing a belt. Is that what a Jinko is?
Like the Jinko pants, the wide ones.
Right. Yeah. I don't know, but it was an adolescent fantasy. Wear those? No.
Oh yeah.
I did have a studded totally belt. Anyway, so Hayden is really just firing all my pistons right now. He's a little surly.
The film
He's
Avatar.
Tough to unlock.
Because these guys are just avatars.
There is a reference to that in one of the books somewhere.
Oh yeah?
I don't remember if it's this one or not.
There should be, because they're just avatars.
No, I think it's an earlier book. You know what? They've got horns and a spur. Please do not forget their spur.
A penis spur. We don't know that the avatars don't have penis spurs or penis ridges or weird tongues.
You're right. I want to see X-rated Avatar.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, listener.
All right. So she sees him at the fire. Is it at the fire? Is it that night at the fire that they do their resonation?
Yeah. Okay. So here's what happens. Here we go. I'm just going to rapid fire it for you. So she sees him. He fucks off. And she's like, good. I'm so glad he fucked off because I hate his whole face. And he hates my whole face. Right. So then kersplat, her IUD comes out. And then she thinks to her, I'm so sorry. Woo. So then she thinks to herself, ooh, I'm going to take my chesticles and I'm going to...
she just leaves it there on the ground? Or do you think she picks it up? What do you think she does?
Know. Do you think she's going to like frame it? I don't know.
I don't know. It's gross.
I'm sorry. You are the person that in Virgin Romance Novelist, you told me that you would contemplate picking up a vibrator that had just been up my vaginal canal without a Kleenex. Yeah, so
because I love you.
But this is gross. Her picking up her own vaginally coated IUD.
No, picking it up wouldn't be gross. Leaving it there would be gross. For somebody else to stumble upon and be like, "What's this alien contraption?
I've never seen plastic before."
Yeah, like maybe I should clean my teeth. Weird. Yeah, yeah. Is this a toothpick? That's what's gross.
Fair.
Responsibly picking it up and disposing of it, however they do on Ice Planet Sex Time, is the right way.
Fucking real good. Okay. I'm gonna get over that soon. All right. So she is like, I'm gonna take my cooey and I'm gonna point it at some men's. Here I go. Oh, I'm gonna start with the old men's just to make sure that I'm not getting them. And the cooey is silent. And so she's like, oh, I'm gonna go over to the hot men's. And so she goes over to them. Nothing happens. And she's like, I guess we'll have to wait because tomorrow they're going over to the other cave. There's 2 caves, y'all. There are so many people now. There's 2 caves. She's like, maybe my mate is over at the other cave. So she goes back into the main festival area and all of a sudden her cooey starts resonating, but there's nobody in front of her. And then she's like, what is my cooey doing? And so she turns around and guess who's standing there, bitches? It's Hayden and his surly face.
I look down and my small boobs are vibrating. Anyway, so that's how resonance happens. Is your boobs just go.
And so, like, it's a cacophony around them of people dancing and blowing horns. Maybe, I don't know. So she and Hayden are like, she's like, oh, fuck, not you. And he's like, oh, man, like, this isn't what I wanted either, but, like, come with me. And she's like, I'm not going anywhere with you because I hate you and you hate me. She's so mean. So he's like, do you want to, like, do this in front of everybody? Because the cooey demands that we get our fuck on right now. And she's like, well, we better go then. So they go into another cave and they start chatting. She's crying and she's like, I can't believe my cooey is such a bastard. My cootie, sorry. Is such a bastard. And it's done this to me because you're the worst. And he's like, well, this isn't what I wanted either.
Right.
And there's a moment that she's pretty unfair, but also pretty understandable because she's telling him to his face how much she hates this. Let's review. She's visibly crying.
Right.
And then she's like, hold on. I don't like the fact that he just told me that I am not his first choice. Like, that doesn't feel good. And I'm like, Josie, maybe have some empathy. Like,
just like,
do you hear what you're saying out loud?
I know.
So anyway, so she asks him, she's like, wait a second, I thought you had a mate.
Ugh.
Because you can only mate once, you guys. Once you mate, that's over. Like, if your mate gets killed by a wildebeest, you don't have one anymore. And you're never having one again.
It's horrible. You can still bone, but it's like, it's like fairies. Like, it's very similar to fairy times.
It is. And the boning between resonance mates, which is what they call them, is like an elevated, like you're on ecstasy, you're having the time of your life kind of boning. Whereas like the other stuff is just, pedestrian sex.
Yeah, like fairies.
Anyway.
Fairy times.
Like fairy times. Exactly. So he's like, it's complicated.
Right.
Regarding his former mate. And she's like, well, I'm not. And so he's basically like, come hither. I will be gentle just in case this is your first time. And he thinks to himself, I'm not going to tell her that it's my first time, because Hayden is also a middle-aged virgin.
Yes.
Like,
He's
rough times.
This Duke is virgin, y'all.
This Duke is such a virgin.
Oh, God. And he's had 2 mates. Like,
I know. He's resonated
Hayden.
twice.
All right,
yeah,
so
you're only supposed to resonate once.
We switched to his POV. We find out that he mated with a lady named Zala back at, he resonated with her.
Yes.
And she had what they call, what was it called? A love partner?
A pleasure mate.
A pleasure mate. It's so gross. It's so, I thought love partner was gross. Pleasure mate is so much more gross.
Delish.
Anyway, and she rejected him. She was like old lady. Like, could be his mom. And
she's a bit of a coog.
Yeah. And he was like a teenager. And he was like, all right, we're mated. And she was like, I don't want none of that. Like, you smell like Doritos and what did we say before? I don't remember.
Ranch Doritos.
Cool Ranch Doritos and Gatorades. And Mountain Dew, Code Red. And I don't want anything to do with you. And so she went and every night went to the bed of her pleasure mate while Hayden, his cootie, got more and more sad. And he got sad and sad. So then
Wait,
Zala,
that's the other thing, guys.
What?
Your cootie, like, starts to get more and more demanding the more you don't fuck your mate.
If you don't fuck your mate, your cootie, like, kills you from the inside out.
Yeah, it gets real pissed and it rebels.
And its song gets sad.
It does. First it gets angry. And then it gets sad.
You know what I think of? This in The Little Mermaid when the seagulls sing. That's Oh okay. Man. Okay. All right. Back to business.
Zala. So here's the one thing that is a little bit it's a little bit murky in the lore, because he says that she died of the cooey sickness, and that at first seemed like she didn't obey her cooey, and so her cooey murder-related her from the inside, right? Mm-hmm. But the cooey sickness was something that sort of swept through the cave, and it diminished their numbers by, I think, about half. So I think that it might be 2 different things, but they were coincidentally happening at the same time.
Well, I think that her cooey was weakened.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
But
so she and her pleasure mate died. So there.
Yeah.
And Hayden almost died, but he rallied and his cooey worked so hard to save him, because the cooeys also heal you quicker. It's always working for you. The cooey always takes care. But the cooey worked so hard that his cooey died.
Yeah.
So he is now working on cooey 2.0. They got him a new one.
A new cooey, which I guess you can do.
And then the new cooey found him a new mate,
which is
what happened. Right. Josie doesn't know any of this yet.
No, but she does demand to know pretty quickly, Josie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's Hayden's whole deal, which I just want to point out here. I'm a little bit pro Zala. I know Zala really fucked over Hayden, but she's like a strong, independent woman in the she wasn't going to let her cootie choose for her. I kind of was supportive of that situation.
Which, so I'm with you, but at the same time, I find it hilarious that both of us are like, yeah, Zala, you go, girl. And the more that Josie talked about and like plotted about how to get out of this mating with Hayden, I was just like, what the fuck is your problem?
Well, I was like, what the fuck is your problem? Because there was nothing actually wrong with Hayden. Mm-hmm. Like, all he did was try to be the best guy he could be for her. All she she was constantly talking about how fucking desperate she was to mate with somebody and have a baby. Like, if it had been Zala's situation where she was straight up in love with somebody else, didn't give a shit about having a baby, and Hayden was a dick to her, then fine. But Hayden's like super handsome, super hot, man of her dreams, doing everything he can for her. He got her that snazzy cave. I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but like...
He does like, get her the biggest cave.
Like, all he's doing is like trying to prove himself to you, Josie, and there's literally no other person to put a baby in you, and that's all you fucking want in the world, apparently. So like, that's why she's frustrating. I think in Zala's book, we would have been pro Zala.
Totally. But Josie's story is interesting because, once again, everybody on Earth was a little bit detached. And the way that Josie became that way is that She was actually in foster care when the whole time she grew up. And it was like not a great foster care situation. She had a few abusive homes. Like it was not great. And so her whole thing is, yes, the only thing she wants in the world, the only thing she's ever known that she wants is that she wants a family. She wants children. But more than that, she wants to create a stable, loving environment because that's what kids deserve. She does not believe in creating kids because you want love or because, you know, the
Right.
population needs it. She wants to create like the idyllic sort of family. And in her mind, doing that with a guy who loathes her is not optimal because then she's just bringing a child into turbulence and stress.
Right.
So I sort of understand where she's coming from, but because we get all of Hayden's inner monologue, we're like, Josie, girl, he's awesome. He loves you. He wants to worship you.
He doesn't do anything that is like mean though. Like if he were acting differently than he was thinking, it would have been different for me.
No, but there is a very there's a big difference between the ways he's physically and verbally displaying himself and the way that he's mentally working, you know, like so for example, during this scene, he's like, oh my gosh, Josie is sunshine and light and she's happiness and I'm yes. Like nobody's ever wanted me. But what he says to her is stop crying. And he's like, oh, that came out harsher than I wanted it to, but I didn't. He also doesn't fix that. So a lot of times he's just snapping at her on the outside, but it's hard to read that because we're so enmeshed in his inner monologue.
Sure.
I think.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you.
Yeah.
He wears both leather pants and a loincloth at all times.
Yeah,
do you find this to be odd?
Oh. You know what I imagine them to be? It works for me. So he's got his shaved sides and his long ponytail that you can just grab onto in addition to the horns. And then he's got a loincloth and what I imagined was leather chaps.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
but just so you know, because of the cooties, they are constantly horned up all the time.
God. Her arousal, the scent of her arousal is just filling this cave. And his 18-inch cock is at attention, I'm telling you. Like the loincloth is, if it were anything but leather, he would have ripped through it already. Right.
Well, he's the leather and he's got two layers, it seems like. Here's the thing. Well, we'll get to it later. All right. Okay. Everybody sleeps in a cave.
I knew you were
next to the fire.
Yeah.
On piles and piles of furs.
Yeah, they say
Everyone has a fur
instead
pile.
Of like, yeah, they're like, instead of saying we're gonna go to bed or we're gonna have sex or something like that, they go, I'm taking her to my furs.
So all these bitches sleep in leather pants with no underpants.
No,
every
they sleep
night.
naked.
Well, a lot of times Josie's sleeping in leather pants.
Well, yeah, because she's dumb.
But here's what I'm trying to say. She's under four furs. She's in leather pants. She's next to a fire. She keeps waking up and being like, I'm wet. I'm like, Josie, you're sweaty. Like, that's not... like, you are head to toe in leather under four furs next to a bonfire. Like, air it out. That's how I feel about their fashion choices. But yeah, they're always wearing leather. Okay. So that night, they have the big argument. They're upset with each other, but they're also horny for each other.
Yeah,
that
and
night,
Josie's like, I'm sorry, if I said yes, you would fuck me right now? And he's like, of course I would. Like, why would I not? And she's like, I am not doing that. We are not doing this. And so I'm going to go sleep somewhere else. Also, don't tell anybody that we're mated. I know it's going to come out at some point, but I need time. I need to like mentally adjust. So we're keeping this under wraps. And he's like, all I want to do is take you to my furs. But oh man, these Ice Planet barbarians who fuck you real good, you guys, they are all about the lady's choice. That's what they're all about. And also the cooey makes you crazy about pleasing your mate, especially if you're a dude. And so he's like, if this is what it takes to please my mate, then that's what will happen. And I will wait as long as I need to for Josie to come around.
Right. So that night she's so pissed she sleeps in the dog kennel.
Yep.
Next day, she's hanging out with all her friends, all the babies. She talks about how much into babies she is.
She's super into babies.
The next day, they've got to take a big hike. Apparently, they were on some hunting trip. They've got to take a big hike back to the main cave. Hayden comes out. He's got her snowshoes. He expected her to meet him at his cave because she's his mate now. And then she realizes that she didn't come, and he's just got her snowshoes. So he just like leaves them on the ground and walks away.
No, it's so cute because I interpreted this differently and I found it to be adorable.
Okay.
So she comes out with her friend Tiff. And and they see Hayden and Tiffany's mate Saluk, and Hayden takes one look at her, scowls, throws some snowshoes on the ground, and then storms off.
Yeah.
And so she's like, wonder what bee is in his bonnet. And I'm like, her name is Josie. The bee's name is Josie. So then she goes over being like, I wonder why he discarded these snowshoes. And she realizes that he was waiting for her with her snowshoes. Yeah. But then he wanted to respect the fact that she didn't want anybody to know. So he had to get as far away from her as possible, lest their cooies start singing a horny song.
Yeah. So he...
It's so sweet.
So he volunteers to scout far ahead. But it doesn't work because later in the day, during their journey, he comes over because he has to something. And her cooey goes, and she has to fake to Tiff that it's a fart. What is that? What is that?
Like, it doesn't last long, you guys.
Like the idea that it's just like, and Tiffany is like, was that you? And she's like, yeah, it's just a fart.
I don't feel so great.
So I loved it. My favorite part of the book, where it was like, was that the alien parasite in your chest singing to the horned blue alien that is your mate? And she's like, no, it's just a fart. Incredible. Incredible, Ruby. Like the idea that you could make this world and then also write that. Hats off.
It's poetry. It's goddamn really poetry.
Is. All right.
Meanwhile, Hayden came over to yell at everyone about going too slow. So like that's Hayden's brand.
Yes.
Okay. So they get to the next cave.
But he says they're going too slow because he's worried about the women getting too cold.
No, I know. No,
and carrying too many babies.
Yeah, because Hayden's whole thing is humans are weak and they're weaker than the barbarian race, the Sakui, and they get cold more easily. And so, but again, every time this happens, they have a fight later on where she sort of starts to understand. And she's like, just because I get cold easily doesn't mean that I suck. And he's like, no, I'm not. I never said that you suck. I'm always worried. I'm always worried because my former mate died on me before I could put it in her. Yeah. And like, I don't know what else you want. Yeah. Yeah. So what happens when they get back to the cave?
I think this is when he goes and gets her the fancy cave. Because somebody's like,
that's what happens. Yeah.
Join us in our bachelor cave. And he's like, nah, I need a cave for me and Josie because we're mates
that's
now.
Right.
And they're like, oh my God, an incredible cave just opened up. Like a 5-bedroom cave.
It's true.
Great view. Like really that is how it's described as like one of the best caves we've got. Smooth walls, just really good stuff. Yeah. And so he's like, this is a great cave. Josie's going to be pretty pleased by this
And he's
cave.
like, Josie, come see. And yeah, really, it's like, what more do you want from him, bitch? He got you the nicest cave. I don't know. So
he gets to the cave, he makes a pyramid of dung and starts the fire. And I want to know what the ventilation situation is in these caves because they're always just setting shit on fire, literally.
Well, I think...
Because it can't smell great.
Listen, well, certainly in the main cave area, there's a hole in the center right above the hot water spring, the hot spring bath. Yeah. The naturally occurring hot spring bath. So
But have you ever used dung as a fire starter?
I haven't.
It's not a great smell. And I've never...
I hear you.
The words are never, we put more wood on the fire. There's occasionally coals, but it's mostly shit. And I just feel like the smell in these caves is probably pretty bad.
What I did in my brain, because it's Divisti dung, and what I did in my brain was say, those Divisti, they smell so good, and their shit smells even better. That's what happened.
They're alien. It's alien shit. It smells great.
That's right. It smells great.
All right. So then that night, she sleeps in the cave with him, but like separately.
Yeah, he puts her in his furs,
And then he camps out across the room because that is what will make his mate happy. Meanwhile,
and she's like, hey, don't try anything while I'm asleep. And he's like, why would I do such a thing?
I would never do that.
Like this? This is not our culture of aliens. We do not do rapes. But like, also like later on, he definitely says aliens do rapes, but we'll get there. Just like put that little notch in the I don't know what to say. Remind me later. There we go.
In my mental bank?
I don't know. All right. So this is where she wakes up. She says, again, leather pants, furs, dung fire. All right?
Dung fire. Yeah.
Okay. I wake up from an exhausted slumber feeling rather refreshed and horny. God, so horny. My hand is between my legs and I absently cup my sex. The heat of my body seems to be greater there, and I'm a little shocked to realize that I'm so wet that my leather leggings are damp against my pussy. I can't believe I'm comfortable reading these things at this point. Like,
I love it.
Oh God. Anyway, okay.
I love this transformation. You're just a kaleidoscope of wonderful.
I push against the folds of the fabric and let them rub against my aching flesh, and a tiny moan escapes me. So she
moans.
Okay.
She accidentally moans.
So here's the like. She's definitely just sweaty, right? Like she's sweaty. Like she's under all those furs.
No, she's also wet AF.
I'm just saying, like, she's got to be so hot in there. Okay.
Yeah, props. Then he hears her moan.
Nope. That's not the next thing that happens.
Damn it.
She gets done doing her moans, and then she takes her hand out, and then
and smells it.
We get this
Does she smell it?
No, but it's bad. I slide my hand out from between my legs and rub it on the blankets to get rid of the pussy smell.
No, Josie, it's going to stay there forever. You can't wash that fur like that.
There's no washing machines in this world. Like, it's so gross, Josie. Also, there's no showers or like soap or like, ooh.
That's not true. There are soap berries. There are naturally occurring soap berries.
They're berries that are the soap. You're right. Well, go swish your hand in some soap berries. Don't wipe it on his... This guy invited you into his new luxury cave, gave you his bed, and you're wiping your, like, gross vagina sweat on his furs.
You know what's great about matedom, though? He just wants to mash his face into the
gross,
vagina first now.
Gross.
That's all he wants.
Okay, all right. Anyway.
Let me tell you something about this.
All right, we can move on with the plot. I just really need to highlight Erin. That morning she had.
No, you will listen to the point I'm trying to make, and that is that one of the cornerstones of this lore is that there is nothing like the taste of a resonance mate on your tongue, you guys.
Gross.
He just wants a buffet of that nectar. Did they call it nectar, actually? Boy, howdy they did. Okay.
Nectar doesn't bother me. Buffet made me retch a little bit, but there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So they have another fight that morning.
Yeah, it's always the same fight. For the next, month, it's always the same fight.
This is where she's like, I'm not your mate. I'm not your fucking mate. We're not gonna do sex on each other. And then she's like, so tell me the story about your dead mate or whatever. And he's like, I don't want to talk about that. You don't have the right to know that. And she's like, I'm your mate.
I know.
So maybe you should fucking tell me. She literally, it's italicized, but as your romantic partner, I don't deserve. It's like she searches for another word besides mate. But she's like, don't I deserve to know the whole story? It's like, no, you don't.
No, you just said out loud that you are not that thing.
Yeah.
So fuck off.
Yeah.
Anyway, he tells her, doesn't he?
Because he's a good guy.
Because he's the best. Yeah. So she finds that out and she's like, man, I feel kind of bad for him. But not enough to make both of our dreams come true. Certainly not.
Not enough to even be kind or say, I'm sorry about your whole situation. And he's like, I'm the only unlucky male that had the Kui sickness and didn't die. And then also had a mate die. And then had to have my dead Kui removed from my chest and a new one put in. And he says, I think I'm the only male in such an unlucky situation. And she goes, wow, thanks for that slap. And it's like, no, he's talking about how his wife died. You know,
right? Maybe obviously, let's not make everything about you, shall we, Josie?
That's the Josie problem. Everything is about Josie.
Yeah. So anyway, for the next 3 weeks, and I shit you not, she is sleeping anywhere but in his cave. Meanwhile, all he has done at this point is get her this luxury cave. He makes her tea all the time. Because that's the other thing. The males in the pairing always want to provide for their mate. So they are always bringing you food. They would like nothing more than to rub your feet.
Uh-huh.
Do you need tea? Because he will go pick the herbs and then brew it for you. It is serious business.
He's being so nice to her. And she has this thought a few pages later. I think about Hayden and his terrible story. He wants me to be his mate, his second chance at a family. If it were anyone else, I'd feel sorry for the tragedy they'd endured. But it's Hayden.
But it's Hayden, though, Sal.
And it's this guy's worst offense is that he's kind of rude and grumpy all the time and closed off. That's the worst thing he's done to her, as far as I know. If there's something in the past books, she doesn't mention it in this book. It's just that he's kind of an asshole. And not even, overtly, just kind of, closed off. It's you can't feel sorry for him that he nearly died and his mate died and he had to have his queen removed. It's a horrible story, but it's Hayden.
Yeah,
She's such a bitch.
The only reason that I tolerated Josie is that, again, a lot of times Hayden has so many opportunities to dissuade her of all of her illusions. Mm-hmm. She literally says, you hate me and I hate you. And instead of saying, no, Josie, I don't hate you. Yeah. This is a misunderstanding. He just thinks to himself, oh, God, she hates me. My mate hates me. That's all he can think about. And so once again, he never tries to build a verbal bridge. And I think that's what Josie needs.
She says, I hate you. And she says she hates him constantly. So why would he want to put himself out there and be like, I don't hate you? Before he ever said anything to her, when they resonated, she was like, this can't be, I hate you.
Yeah, that's true.
Why would he, why put yourself out there for that evil,
Well, because he's trying to get it in, God, do what you gotta do, Hayden.
But, think of his situation with his former mate. It's all happening again. Why would he?
Listen,
I know. Listen, I'm here for Hayden, and I hate Josie. And that position is not going to change.
I know. All right. I know. So she's sleeping in other caves. She's sleeping in storage areas. Yeah. She's sleeping anywhere but with him. And meanwhile, he just keeps on bringing her presents periodically.
And he's sleeping in that luxury cave all alone. But then she sees him naked.
Oh, is that when this happens?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the first time she's ever seen Hayden naked, even though they all bathe in a communal pool in the center of the cave system.
How does that work? It's been a year and a half.
Yeah, I don't know how she's never seen Hayden naked before, but she says that.
Yeah.
You guys.
He's
got a pretty big dick. I don't know if you guys have read an alien sex novel before, but his is a good one. Mm-hmm. Thickest one she's ever seen. Magnificently broad. Mm-hmm. Heavy balls. Didn't need that description. I didn't need the heavy balls description. The sight of his substantial dick makes an ache deep in her belly. And then her cootie starts going.
Mm-hmm. It's going.
All right.
Okay.
So she says, I want to mate. So images of touching him all over move through my mind, and I have to fight the urge to rush over to him and tackle him to the cave floor. This isn't what I want. I want a mate that loves me, not someone who can barely tolerate me. I can't bring a baby into this world in any other way, no matter how badly I want to be a mother. And I wrote the note, maybe he'd like you if you'd stop being such a bitch to him all the
time. Oh, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. At some point, weeks later happens, but at some point she gets this idea that if Hayden's koi died and he was able to put a new one into him, that she could maybe kill hers or remove hers and get a new one that didn't like Hayden.
She wants to swap out both their kuis.
Right. This is after weeks and weeks of they're wasting away. They're looking like Bella in the beginning of book 4 of Twilight. She's like a Skeletor. She can't eat. He can't sleep. They're dying. Their kuis are eating them from the inside out. So he decides, okay, if this is what she wants, to figure out if he's like, there's no way to get rid of your kui. That's not a thing. But she thinks that there's a machine that can do it at a spaceship. Yeah. There's a spaceship machine.
So turns out, this is also a part of the lore that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I will address that on the Patreon. Basically, almost 300 years ago, the way that the alien race got there was that they were on like a pleasure cruiser, and the pleasure cruiser crashed on this ice planet. So like 60 of them were stranded there, and then now it's 300 years later. So they call the spaceship an elder cave, and 300 years later, some of the things work and some of them don't. In book 3, the surgery machine worked. So I think that something happened to it between book 3 and book 7. It is now broken. Yeah. And there's one of the other humans. One of the other humans is attempting to fix it, but she's not sure like what the status is. So Hayden is like, the only thing that is like the cornerstone of my personality now is pleasing my mate. So if she's really serious about wanting to take out her kui, I don't want to take my kui out because it doesn't seem right. But I will go with her and support her in taking out her kui. So he is going to take her to the Elder Cave and try to make this happen for her.
Right. So they hike out to that Elder Cave.
They're hiking and hiking.
Harlow's just like, surgery machine is broken, and doesn't really like, I don't think she has a lot of initiative to fix the surgery machine. She's just like,
she is a new mother. And I do not want you coming at Harlow. She is dealing with a newborn. All right.
Well,
she's dealing with a newborn in like prehistoric times, Erin. How long do you? I'm sorry. No, you will wait. She is diapering a baby with leather. Okay?
Oh, God.
She has things to wash all the time.
I don't know. I just feel like she made a choice to have a half-alien prehistoric baby.
Her kui chose. How dare you? Her kui chose. There was no choice. You have to please the kui.
All right. Okay. But here's basically the conversation between Josie and Harlow.
Sorry.
They show up. Josie's like, hi, Harlow. You're the mechanic around here. I would really like it if you could help me use the surgery machine to remove my kui. And Harlow's like, it's broken. And Josie's like, what's like wrong with it? And she's like, broken. And Josie's like, are you going to try to? And she's like, no, broken, Josie.
That's not true.
And it's like, it's very...
What she says is...
It's very because I said so.
No, it's broken. And she's like, listen, I've been trying, but it's alien technology. I don't actually have any like parts. I can't order parts. I have to manufacture my own parts out of cannibalized metal around me. It takes a long time. And so I've been trying, but I also have an infant. And I'm also like knee deep in leather covered shit. Nope. Shit covered leather. And so... They're just wrapping shit in leather.
And then throwing it on the fire. Yum, yum, yum. Let's make our food.
So anyway, she's like, I am trying to fix it, but it could be 6 weeks. It could be 3 years before the surgery machine is fixed. I don't know. And because what Josie says is like, I need this done like by tonight or tomorrow, ? Like, I really need this done because my kui's eating me from the inside. So like the quicker we could do this, the better.
Right.
And Harlow cannot make that promise. That seems reasonable to me.
Yeah. I just felt like it was one of those conversations where Harlow was like, just like, please leave. I am not going to try.
I mean, is that not how you would deal with Josie, Erin? That sounds like exactly how you would deal with Josie.
Wait a minute. Revelation. That is exactly how I would deal with this bitch. Never mind. You're so right. Team Harlow. Oh, you want me to fix this right now? Because, like, yep, you're right. Never mind. Sorry.
Because, like, instead, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. You're right. Sorry. Cut all that. Cut it all.
I'm keeping all of it.
All right.
Oh, hey, HBs. I don't know if you've heard, but we have a Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, you get over 150 bonus episodes, most of which include Erin, videos of regular episodes, author hangouts, and so much more. Do you want to hear Erin and I recap every single episode of Crash Landing on You? What about a little film called Psycho Stripper? Do you want more recaps of ridiculous Thanksgiving and other holiday books and movies? And how do you feel about Naima Simone and I recapping amazing reality TV? All of that and more is on the Patreon. There's so much content at your fingertips as soon as you sign up. Seriously, hours and hours. Anyway, it's patreon.com/Heaving Bosoms Podcast if you want to check it out. And of course, that link is in the show notes. Keep being a badass.
So
okay.
Josie at this point.
So she's like,
like,
okay, fuck it.
you know
I guess
what?
I'll just do it.
I guess what I have to do is like really, really angrily hop on that dick.
I'm just going to hop on this alien dick. So she's like,
except,
yes.
can I just say
Yeah.
that I would have loved if this was like a hate fuck at first, you know?
Oh, God.
Because book
I love
2,
a hate
can I
fuck.
just say, Erin, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. You've got to read book 2.
All right,
because
I'll read book
2 has a hate staring in each other's eyes like mutual masturbation that
Okay.
is so good.
I'll read book
Yeah.
2 after for a chase or after I read Fires of Fucking Winter because
Oh, yeah. We have to do that.
oof.
All right.
Oof.
So anyway, she's like, Hayden, we really need to please our cooies because I can't get my cooie out. So like, I guess we have to be fucking mates. And she's not happy about it. And she's not trying to be nice about it.
And she's psyching herself up for what she calls bad sex. I just want to
Yeah.
read this paragraph.
Please.
Then we'll leave it here. I don't want to have a full on, I don't want to bring it down into a sexual abuse discussion,
Okay.
but I want to plan it right here because I want the readers to know that at least we noticed this. I've had bad sex in the past. I've been abused by foster parents, raped by aliens, and gone on terrible dates where things got out of hand. Those things are not bad sex. And she repeatedly refers to those 3 things as bad sex.
Yeah.
So Josie's got a dark past. And it's part of why she's so not okay with being with somebody who is just going to use her to have a baby and doesn't actually love her and want to be with her.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we hate Josie, but like I guess it comes from a place of
I do not hate Josie.
I hate Josie. So
I know.
I just want to acknowledge this part of Josie so that I don't know. I just don't. Listen. I get where Josie's coming from, but I just feel like she could have been a little more empathetic toward him.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. She's certainly flawed,
Right.
but I still, I enjoy her. I think it gives a nice. What I will say is that Ruby's heroines, none of them sound the same, which is really awesome.
That's really cool. She's a very talented writer.
She is. Yeah.
But I want to say, like, her whole thing is, and I get it, this Kui situation is taking her decision out of who she has to have sex with or gets to have sex with. And she's losing her agency in this situation. Like, it sounds like she's lost her agency in a lot of situations in the past.
Yeah.
And so when we view Josie through that lens, we can see what her motivations are, she's still being a total bitch toward Hayden. All right. Okay.
Yes. So she's like, we better go into a different room in this spaceship and let's just do a real quick bone it out just to, get it out of our systems. And Hayden's like, oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I'll follow you anywhere.
Wait. I'm sorry. I just noticed something. I'm sorry. I just screamed in the microphone. Before she does this, she contemplates murdering Hayden.
Oh, yeah. There is that part. Yeah.
He's not.
She says to herself,
he's pretty nice. Like, he's just bringing her all the tea she wants.
He's not nice out loud.
But he's nice in actions.
Well, sort of. But let's review. When he brought her snowshoes, what he did was scowl at her, throw them on the ground, and storm away.
Yeah, he's a man. I don't understand.
What?
I feel like he's showing her he loves her. What's the deal? I don't know. She's just mean.
Yes.
Maybe
her love language is
well.
different.
Yes.
Okay? She needs verbal affirmations. And she's not getting that from Hayden, so she can't see it. She's just like, oh, he just wants to bone me because his cooey and his body are telling me that he wants to bone me, but he doesn't like me for me. And I totally understand that coming from her. Anyway, So, yeah, and so she might contemplate a tiny bit of murder, but she quickly turns the ship around.
So mean.
She turns the car right around.
Yeah. So now they're going to
She goes out. They're going to fuck. So they go into the place. And she's like, maybe we could start with some kissing. And he's like, kissing? What is this kissing you talk about? He's like, oh, yes, I have seen the other people do some kissing. And so he tries to do that. Then he's a pretty quick learner, right?
No, he does not try to kiss her.
No.
So she actually gets frustrated in that he doesn't try to kiss her.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Because he doesn't know what it is yet.
Sorry, guys. I'm getting my books mixed up. She doesn't say anything
about kissing in this first one. She's just like...
you know what? Josie is so unfair because in a society where she knows, she's talked to all of her bitches before, she knows that all of them had to be like, hey, there's this kissing thing that humans like to do. Yeah. And all the aliens are like, oh, you mean like mating with mouths? So everybody else had to be coached. They all talked about it in their girl circle.
But she's sitting there and being like, unless he smooches me,
this motherfucker better kiss me.
This is over.
Yeah, he better bring it upon himself. He better think of it himself to kiss me. Otherwise, I hate him. And so that's pretty unfair. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, just tell him what you want. All he wants to do is give you what you want.
Yeah. And so she's sitting there. She's like, okay, we can do this. She goes into a room. It's got one of those doors that's like, yeah. It's like got a button. So she goes in. She sits down on a hard steel bench. Yeah.
Yes, and all of the barbarians are incredibly mistrusting of the Elder Cave, and all of them do not know how anything works.
Right. There's like a stainless steel slab, and she's like, all right, this is where we're going to do it. And he's trying to be very delicate and touching her hair and trying to he's kind of touching her boobs a little bit and trying to do some foreplay. Tits. And she's sitting there fuming, being like, why isn't he fucking kissing me? And then she says things such as, he's like, do you wish to be my mate, Josie? And he's trying to get consent from her. Do you wish to be my mate, Josie? She's like, honestly, no, I don't want it. And I don't want you. But I can't do this anymore. And I feel like we're stuck treading water and just getting weaker and weaker. So this is what we have to do. Yeah. It's she's so mean. Okay. Yeah. So then she sits there for a while and then he doesn't smooch her. I forget what sets her off, but she's like, no, this is done. I don't want this anymore.
I'll tell you what sets her off. Don't worry. I got it. She touches maybe his rib cage or maybe his arm or something. And this dude is such a virgin. And so he gets so excited, the poor guy, that one tiny touch from his hot mate who he wants so badly makes him come in his loincloth. And so now he's got cum splattered loincloth that's just sticking to him. He whips around and he's against a wall and he's just like, fuck. How do I show her that I'm not because all he remembers is his former mate Zala laughing in his face about what a tiny boy he was.
Right.
And he doesn't want that to happen with Josie. And so he's trying to figure out what to do. And she's like, what the fuck, dude? And he's like, I don't, and he gets frustrated. And then she's like, oh, fuck this and fuck you. I was going to demean myself by getting in your pants and letting you get in my pants. And now I'm over it and I'm done. And so she pushes the mystery button that makes the steel slab door go open and then close. And he, meanwhile, is just like, oh,
he's wiping up sperms from his loincloth. May I just say this?
Yeah.
This line?
Yeah.
Well, this is before it all went south.
Oh, sure.
Her kui is singing loudly in her breast, and her scent is so ... overwhelming. And I just wrote, it really is a fart. It's a fart! And then the scent is so overwhelming. I just can't get it out of my head. Anyway,
Man, and you know what? Even farts smell good to resonance mates. That's how deep it is.
Yes. God, gross. So
she's storming off. Part of Josie that is so
storming off and then being like, why won't he follow me? Girls, we've said it before. We'll say it again. It doesn't fucking work. Do not storm off and then be like, why didn't you follow me? They never want to follow you. They're never going to follow you.
Or maybe you know for a fact that your alien barbarian mate doesn't know how to work anything on a spaceship, so maybe he doesn't know how to open the door.
You guys, she's like, why didn't he follow me? This is so shitty. He doesn't even like me. And then it clips back to his narrative, and he's like, I'm stuck in this room. How does this door open?
He's banging
I
on the door.
want to go to my mate. I'm so covered in cum.
I need to go find my Josie and tell her that it was my problem, not her. But boom, 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 boom. I don't know how to open this door. Oh, God, it's so good. So then she's like, you know what? I am done with this. I am done with everybody thinking I'm a weak little human. I am done with this Kui deciding my destiny. I'm done having no agency. So I am fucking off forever. I'm over it. I'm done. Yeah. So she gets up a bunch of supplies while nobody's looking. And she's like, stupid. I'm just going to go find this cave by the sea, and I'm going to live there for the rest of my days.
For the rest of my life. I've never
here I go.
Hunted?
Never
gathered?
Hunted. Nope.
Or, I don't know, any of the things that you have to do to survive in the wilderness. She's never done. She just takes like a handful of fucking granola, and she's like, this is me surviving on the ice planet alone on the glacier.
Can't wait. Yeah. I don't know how to... Oh, she does know how to make leather. I will say that what I found out about Josie before is that because she couldn't resonate, she wanted to figure out a way to be useful to the tribe. So she's been learning a bunch of crafts. She's been doing baskets up the yin yang. She's been tanning a bunch of hides. She's been doing, work to make sure she also has a place in the society. Huh. So I think she does have some skills.
Okay.
Just maybe not bringing down beasts, which is the number one skill you need to have.
Yeah, that's like the one.
Right. Anyway, so
she fucks off. She's hiking, trying to go to the ocean because there's this ocean cave she's trying to get to. Yeah. Meanwhile, clip back to poor Hayden. He falls asleep. He falls asleep with his sperms all over him. Then he has a fucking wet dream. He wakes up with more sperms all over him. He says, I wake up sometime later, Kui humming, my cock still hard, and my breechcloth wet again from my dream, and still no Josie. Cursing, I rip one of my decorative panels from my leathers and scrub at my wet belly and groin. Twice now, I have cum in my pants. I snarl as I toss the wet leather aside and then push the wall again, trying to get it to move. Like, I just love that she's all on having her, like independent woman adventure, and he's still stuck in the room, just coming and coming and coming, and he can't control himself. Poor guy.
Yeah, so it's been hours since she went to Eat, Pray, Love by herself. And
since she went to Eat, Pray, Love by herself.
And finally, they hear, the people who live on the ship, Harlow and her mate, hear this pounding. And so they go and find him, and he's like, I need to find my Josie. And they're like, we thought you both left. Like, I don't know.
There's no mention on the fact that he's just like cock out, like covered in cum when they open this door.
It smells completely like sperm.
Oh yeah, and his Kui's been humming the whole time, so it's just like fart smells. God. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry this is all we talk about is farts and stuff. I'm sorry.
That's not how it is. A sound is different from a smell, Erin.
When her Kui is singing, she says it smells overwhelming. All right.
So then here's the best thing about Hayden. Wait. I love Hayden so much because his inner monologue here just made me want to jump all of his bones. He's like, okay, what's going on? And they're like, we thought that Josie was with you. She is not here. They asked the ship. And the ship is like, there are only 3 organisms on this bitch. So the other one is gone. And he's like, oh no, my mate has nothing. She doesn't know how to, she's so weak. She doesn't know how to survive in the wilderness. And then he realizes that she raided his pack for like travel supplies. Yeah. And he's like, my clever mate.
Yes.
My resourceful Josie.
Yes.
And so he's like, you know what? All right, I'm going to follow her. I'm going to see what's going on.
Yes.
He very soon realizes that she's not going back to the main cave. And it seems as though she's heading in the direction, of this shoreline or whatever.
May I read you a passage that you blew over, though?
Sure.
He sees Rook kiss Harlow.
Oh, yeah.
And he realized He presses his mouth to her forehead. A kiss, the humans call it. A kiss. I did not give Josie a kiss. I did not hold her in the tender, easy way that Rook holds his mate. And I am ashamed. There are so many things I have done wrong this day, and I will write them or die trying.
Or die trying.
Anyway,
Hayden.
so he's following her, follows her tracks.
Yeah, and he's like, you know what? He can see her, but he's staying far enough back that she won't notice. And he's like, you know, my Josie is clever and resourceful, and she's shockingly capable. But I do not like that she never looks behind her because, you know, beasts and stuff.
Yes.
And she'd be able to see him.
Yes.
So he's like, I could go. And he like camps out.
Yes.
Around
Can I read
her
another
cave?
Hayden passage from this time?
Oh, yes, please.
Just once, I wish she would look back. I wish she would see me waiting on the horizon for her, waiting to take care of her, to comfort her, to be her man and her mate and whatever else she needs. But she never turns. I hope wherever Josie is going, she gets there soon.
And he's like, I could go, like everything in my being wants to go into the cave that she's currently in and be like, I take care of you now, and like really caveman at her.
Yes.
But he's like, she's obviously on a journey, and I'm just going to be here to make sure that I can support her and murder anything that tries to murder her. That's my job right now. I'm going to let her do what she wants to do. And it's gorgeous. He's such a feminist, and I'm so into it.
I just love Hayden so much.
I love him.
She gets to the ocean.
Yeah.
She uses a spyglass that she took from the Elder Cave and like scopes out that ocean. She peeps a bird.
That's the one.
She peeps a sea monster. She peeps a spaceship. So she goes down.
She peeps a crashed spaceship.
Yeah. So she goes down and she's like, what's the spaceship? And then she's like, oh, right, I remember the story of the spaceship. The story of the spaceship doesn't really matter, except that she says... The story of the spaceship
is so good, and it's in book 3. Kira's book. Go read it.
A ship returned a few months after we'd arrived. They stole Kira, shot Hako and Hayden. Oh, crap, Hayden. And left them for dead. Kira had saved the day, blah, blah, blah. It's a story that's been told around the campfire over and over again. I've heard it a dozen times, mostly because I gleefully enjoyed the part where Hayden got his gut shot up. God damn! Like, I can understand having an aversion to this guy and just wanting to make your own choices in life, but she, like, hates him for no reason.
Yeah, but then isn't this the part where she's like, oh no, I think I miss Hayden, and I think I miss him for more reasons than just my cooey.
I'm just saying, I feel like there are very few people in the world that I hate so, like, maybe no one, that I hate so much that I would enjoy their guts getting shot up.
Yeah, and like needing to relive it constantly.
Yeah,
that's
and like giggling
overkill.
about it. That's a lot, especially if we're talking about, like, it's not hyperbole. This actually happened to this person.
Right.
/alien /barbarian.
Fucks you real good.
Fucks you real good.
So...
Okay. So she goes down to that spaceship. She doesn't know what else to do. So she goes to the spaceship. There's a big light on it. It's hot. She goes into the spaceship.
Oh, wait, guys.
Yeah.
Wait, but before that,
yes,
Hayden sees some tracks. And it looks like it's Metlax.
Metlax. There's only 3 kind of animals on this planet. They're the dogs that run around. They eat those. They use their poop. They also keep them as dogs. There's Metlax.
The weird thing is that I thought they were more like cows. Like really furry cows.
There's one that is a pet.
I know. I'm wondering how big big Divistes are, because I really thought they were more like cows. Anyway, dog cows. There's dog cows.
There's the dog cow ones. Then there's the mean ones. Those are the Metlax.
There's also face-eating fish, which are real neat.
And then
we don't encounter them in this.
Scary bird.
Oh, and then there's this bird.
This bird you got. Wait, we're not there yet. Okay. She goes in the spaceship.
So the Metlax are like Yetis.
Yeah.
But they want to claw your eyes out.
They're bad.
And they hunt in groups.
Yes.
Okay.
So
she goes to the spaceship. Meanwhile,
there's a hot light.
Yeah.
Hayden's like, I'm going to go get these Metlax. I need to protect her from the Metlax. She sees the hot light. She goes inside. There's pods inside, and they've got ladies in them, 2 of them.
There's more pods. There's more ladies in pods.
There's pod ladies. She's like, oh no, I have to rescue these ladies. And she's like, I do have to go back to the camp now. Not because I'm running out of food. No. But because we got to save these ladies.
Yeah, that tracks.
She comes out of the spaceship. She sees Hayden. bravely fighting off a dozen Metlax.
He is locked in combat with a baker's dozen of Metlax.
Right. Metlax.
Oh my gosh.
Hate fire.
Is just swinging. Spear.
Yeah. So what she does, she goes up to that hot light. Remember the hot light? Because I dropped it a few times so that you guys would remember.
She did. It was at least 3.
Yeah. So she goes up to that hot light. She tries to put her leather on that hot light, try to make her leather catch on fire so that she can scare away those Metlax because they hate fire. And she takes her whole pack, puts it on the thing, and she lights a lot of her shit on fire. Then she
lights a bunch of, and then she carries
it in her hands.
Fire all the way up the hill.
She's going fast. Metlax, this is the fire. And
How
then she's
dare
like,
you? Swoosh,
ouch,
swoosh.
ouch, my hands. My hands are burning.
Are so burned.
Ouch, ouch. But like, I want to save Hayden. Which
whoosh,
is like,
whoosh.
Oh my God, Josie's in love with Hayden. Am I right?
Yeah.
So then she burns up her hands and throws the fire at the Metlax. They scamper away. And then, I assume that they make the noise of the name that they are. Yes. And then Hayden is so grateful and so concerned about her hands. And they make a rendezvous inside the cave.
Yeah, so he sets her up and he's like, okay, you're going to sit here.
By
love
cave,
you forever.
I mean spaceship, but he calls it a cave.
Yeah, the high-tech cave.
High-tech
so then
cave.
He's like,
everything's a cave to them.
I'm going to go get you some herbs. And he builds her a fire and he gets her all warmed up. And then he goes out and this is where their relationship starts changing because he's like, I'm going to go get you some herbs. You're going to be okay because there's fire here and the Metlax don't like it. So just make sure the fire stays up.
Right.
And she's like, but you're going out there. Are you going to be okay?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my gosh, my Josie is worried about me being okay.
Yes.
And he's like, yes, I will be fine. I am Hunter. Hear me roar.
Yes.
Roar. And then she's like, okay, well, hurry back. And he's like, oh my gosh. So he comes back. And he starts chewing on those yucky herbs and buttering up her hands with them.
Yeah. She realizes that the reason he's such a dick to her all the time is that he's scared that she's going to die.
Yes.
Like his other mate died. And she's small and can't take care of herself.
Yeah.
Duh, Josie.
So this is where it goes from here. Over the next few days, I love this fight though, because he's just starting to think that she cares about him. And so he's like, okay, well, doctor in your hands. I'm doing all the things. And he's like, so it seemed like you were heading back out. And she was like, yeah, I was heading out to head back to the camp because there's 2 more bitches here and we got to save these bitches.
Yeah.
And he's like, and then he gets really quiet.
Oh.
And she's like, oh no, I hurt his feelings. He thought I was coming back for him. And like, obviously I wasn't doing that, but now I kind of wish I was.
Yes.
And so this is good of her. She tells him, that her feelings are starting to change.
Yes.
And it takes him a while, but she's like, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings about, not wanting to be in your sight at all, ever.
Yeah.
And I was only going back for these bitches.
Yeah.
So then, 2 days pass because he's like, we can't leave until your hands are better. You're already a liability because you're so frail.
Right.
So you have to be fully healthy before we can leave. He's feeding her. He's literally feeding her and drinking her with his hands.
No, I was about to say he's doing a lot of feeding her, but he's also doing a lot of handing her tea, which I was confused by. She can hold the tea, but not the spoons.
Well, she's got mitts. It's basically like in bowls, so she can just mitt it and then double hand it up to her face.
Okay.
Okay. So it's bath time.
Yeah.
Guys.
Josie just is feeling pretty
it's
stinky. Time. She's feeling stinky. And
she's been furred up and leathered up and horned up.
A lot of
for like a
very
month.
Horned up. And her resonance has just been making a lot of smells and a lot of sounds. She just feels very stinky. And so she turns to Hayden and she says, Hayden, I'm stinky. Would you mind? Can you imagine if that's what she said?
I know.
But anyway.
I smell so bad, Hayden. I'm so
smelly and very smelly.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, how about I bath you? How about I sponge bath you? And she's like, oh, no, we couldn't. And he's like, no, I totally can. Super can. Definitely want to. So he starts warming up the water. And then when it's warm, he starts taking off her clothes a little bit. And then he starts. So then our Virgin Duke is so sweet because he's trying to bath her, but he also wants to touch her all over, but he also doesn't want to come in his pants again, right? So he's in this predicament, right?
So horny.
So he just keeps on washing her shoulders. He just keeps on washing just her shoulders. And she's like, you can move down a little bit. And so then he washes up on her boobs. And then she's like, oh my gosh. And then he goes a little bit lower. And then he washes up on her cunt. And she's like, oh boy. And then he's like, I need to bury my face in your cunt right now.
Wait, before that happens.
Oh, no. Okay.
He tells her what happened with the other thing. He was like, I should have done better with that. Because he tells her his hesitation in bathing her. And like, he's very embarrassed by it. And she all of a sudden realizes what happens. And she's like, oh, okay. No, it makes me like you more. And then he's embarrassed. And then he feels okay. So I just wanted to get that out. That happens during the bath.
Thank you for telling us about that, Erin. That's so true.
It was important.
And to Josie's credit, she finds it to be adorable, as she should.
Yes. And she finds out he's a virgin in this conversation. She's like, he's like, it was my first time. I'm ashamed that I couldn't get it right. And she was like, it's your first time.
Mm-hmm. And so he just takes his tongue and he puts it right in her folds. And guys, a lot of their body is ridged and like bumpy, including their tongue. Can I just tell you that upon first read, he kept on talking about her super smooth tongue. And so on first read, I was a little put off because I was imagining like a cat tongue. It's not what it is.
No.
It's not that. It's just like ridged.
It's
a little bit bumpy.
It's ridged for her pleasure. So is the penis.
It is. So is the penis.
And it has a prong for the clit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. I've got some hesitation regarding his spur.
Spur is like the worst word for it too. It implies that it's sharp.
It's so sharp.
Yes.
It is so sharp. It's meant for punishment. Okay. So
anyway,
he goes down on her. It's amazing.
Yes.
She comes like a freight train.
Yes.
And then does she offer to reciprocate? I don't remember that she does.
Oh, she does not. But it doesn't matter because he blows his load while going down on her.
Yeah, he cannot help himself.
And she's like, I don't know if she offers or he just kind of is like, I'm good.
No, he does. Yeah. He's like, that was really good for me too.
Oh,
and
that's what
like
she says, what about you? And he's like, I finished as well.
Hayden, I love you. You randy kid.
And then he finishes bathing her and then they go to sleep.
Yeah.
Naked this time in the furs together.
Yeah. And they're all cuddled up. Okay. So then can we skip ahead to when they leave?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it just builds more and more. It's very nice. Like they have
a
more
lot of really good
realizations about their many miscommunications. I start to be more okay with Josie during the, they start talking to each other, which is great. And now they're like totally into each other. They're good.
Yeah, they're into it. So then they start hiking away.
Oh, wait.
And they start going to... Oh, that's right.
Bloop.
Beep, boop,
blop.
Bird.
Click. Beep, boop, bird click.
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
They're worried about those Melax. They're worried about the Yetis outside. And he's like, it'll be fine. They're afraid of fire, so we will cover ourselves with ashes so that we smell like fire.
Yeah.
That's stupid. That's all I had to say about that. Beep boop, bird click. That's dumb. Metlax are afraid of fire because it burns, not because it smells like ashes. That makes no sense.
That just sounds like there used to be a fire. And now there is not. No. That just smells safe, right?
Right. That's
just smells safe.
Dumb. How about a torch? I mean, I'm not like Miss Survivalist here. I don't know. I'm not experienced in Metlax, but I feel like a torch.
Yeah, I just don't think it's like an all-day plan. You know what I mean?
I don't know. They have a lot of dung.
I know, but are you going to hold a flaming ball of dung?
Listen,
Josie tried that. She got real injured.
If they said, we left holding a flaming ball of dung on a stick and we use that as a torch all day, we wouldn't be beep, bloop, blopping, bird clicking. I would have been like, yep, that sounds about right, a torch. But instead, when they rubbed themselves with ashes, I had to highlight it and say what? is going on.
Okay,
that makes no
fair.
sense. All right, okay.
Okay, but
All right.
back to the plot. Point of order.
Plot.
They leave, but so Hayden's like, let us go back to our friend's cave. And she's like, actually, can we take a bit of a honeymoon? Because like this thing is new between us. I really want to just like see the countryside. Let's do this real good. And then we'll go back to the cave because in her mind, like this is going to be a crazy 180 to everybody over there. And so she wants a really solid relationship when she confronts everyone with their new blissed out state.
I can see that, but like also there are animals that are going to eat you. Like, I just feel like get back to the cave where you guys can like have a nice bath, retire to your cave, lock the door, you know, hiking all around the countryside with very little food is not the nice honeymoon you want.
Yeah. So my thing was, why not go within, I don't know, 1 day's hike of the cave and then hang out inland? Because their whole thing is right by the shore is super dangerous because A, it's Metlack territory, and B, there are these insane, like, Jurassic birds. There are these bus-sized birds that hang out on the coastline, and they just want to eat you. Like, you just look like the most delicious tiny snack because they are bus-sized. They are school bus size, and they fly. They're flying buses with teeth. Right. Oh, boy.
So I think we can fast forward a little bit here. Like, they take their honeymoon.
Yeah, they're hiking.
They're doing the hiking. One night, she teaches him how to do the kissing.
Yeah.
That's very sweet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
They do the kissing that night. And he learns how, likes it very much. He's got the ridgy tongue. She's got the normal tongue.
I feel like he fingers her.
Yeah, that's the night he fingers her.
He says something like, do you want me to fuck you with my fingers? And I was into it.
And then like another night she goes down on him.
Yeah.
She definitely does like an alien blowjob, to which I remember noting, what do we think alien cum tastes like? We don't need to talk about it, but I don't know.
Resonance mates taste like the best thing that's ever happened to your mouth.
I feel like they're light blue, so like maybe cotton candy.
Ooh,
I feel like when something's light blue flavored, that's usually the flavor.
Yeah, or like blue raspberry. Delish.
Right. Like, he wakes her up with oral sex a couple times. That's great. Like, they're just doing, they're exploring. They're honeymooning. They have not had regular sex yet, though. Like,
they have not had penis into vagina sex.
Do we call it a penis? Like, I almost said that, but then I was like, is that what it? Yeah, I guess it is. His alien penis is not. Yeah. So, also, you guys, he only refers to vaginas as cunts. That's the only word he knows for it. Every time she calls it something else, he's like, what is pussy?
That's right.
So
is that
funny.
Your cunt?
Yeah, it's like, is that what you call your cunt? Which is, it's hilarious that he doesn't know like 2 words and they're like the other 2 words for vagina. Otherwise, fluent English. Okay. So then they're hiking around one day and they see a Metlack that's like real fucked up. And he's like, oh no, the scary birds are around. And then the next day they start hiking and he's like, stay real close behind me because those scary birds are around. And she's like, oh, look, a scary bird. And then...
No, Erin, wait. No, I'm sorry. I have to talk about this.
First she whispers.
He says,
a scary bird.
No, stop it. No, this is a beep boop bird click. Hayden is a dum-dum.
Hayden is a dum-dum?
Hayden you just wait.
Take a seat, madam.
Hot take from Melody. Here we go. So he's like, these birds are scary as shit. We only know them in like mythical terms. We've never actually seen one in action, but we know that they're super dangerous. And so he's like, all right, tiny human, that is Josie, we need to be careful and like burr. So this motherfucker then decides that, so Josie's in snowshoes because she's got human feet and it is super, super snowy. She can only walk so fast in her snowshoes. So Hayden is like, we've got to hurry, Josie. And so he just fucks off. And he's like, he is no less than 30 paces ahead of her. He cannot hear her, even if she were to like almost shout.
Even if she were to shout, but beep, boop, bird click. I'm taking it over.
Whispers.
When the bird happens, she sees a big bird, prehistoric bird, Jurassic cloud over her. maybe it's bird. It's click, 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 click. It's ready to go.
It's
and
definitely
she goes,
a shadow.
She goes, a bird.
She stops in her tracks, and she's so scared. She's like, Hayden, a bird.
She goes, there's a bird up there.
She does not.
And then she's like, oh, that's not useful. Hayden. But as soon as she yells Hayden, that bird,
she gets
fucking
humped.
Devours her and
It
swallows
her
whole.
It's so big that it can fit its whole beak around her and then fly back away. So then Hayden, once again, useless as the day is long.
Oh.
He's a football field away from her. He's not that far. He's like 50 feet away from her. Away. Then he sees this bird take off, and the first thing he does, he doesn't run in her direction. Oh. He takes his bone dagger.
He's
out
in
of
that
his
church
belt,
in like Venice or Rome or whatever, wherever
it's
Edward
true.
was, and he's just ready to walk out into the sunshine like a moron when like she's still alive up in that bird.
And
wow.
Yeah, he is Romeo.
We're talking to the only
pulse,
like 3,000 people that understand that reference.
No, he is Romeo, not checking her pulse, not seeing if she's breathing. He's just laying over her, literally putting his dagger into his heart. He nicks his breastbone, being like, no, cannot live without my mate. But then the bird starts.
But I mean,
it's like,
did you kind of love it a little bit though when he was standing there and it was flying away? He was like,
no, what a dumbass. No.
He's like, it's flying away. I cannot fly. Must kill myself. Like, he literally says the word. Like, he's like, how do I rescue her? It's flying. Hayden cannot fly. I cannot fly. I guess I will have to kill myself. Like, I just love he realizes he cannot fly like a bird.
I will say he knows his limitations. So then, the bird. It starts to look a little wonky in the sky. It starts dipping a little bit. Yes. And then it starts going off to the side. And then it just starts plummeting. And he's like, must get to bird. And so he just starts running as fast as he can. He gets to the bird. It's flailing. And so he's like, you murdered my mate, so I will murder you.
It so recklessly for somebody who knows that the love of his life is inside of it. Just stabbing. I had a mate. Stab. And I loved her. Stab. You took her from me. Stab. Slash. I think we can all agree that these are all deep stabs and slashes. They're all big stabs. Big stabs,
I mean,
big
granted,
slashes.
It's a bust-sized bird, so I can't imagine that it's any less than like a foot. Like, he's got to go a foot in. You know what I mean? But still.
I was just trying to do a Firelight callback. That's all I was trying to do there. I just wanted to say these are big stabs.
Remember that? Yes, but he also cuts its throat, which would be a slash. So.
All I say is a big stab. All right. Okay.
So.
All right. And then a bloodstained hand emerges from the belly of the beast.
It's a dagger. It's her dagger. She's been carrying her knife in her hand.
I'm sorry. One moment. Quote, a bloodstained hand emerges.
No, there's something that pokes out. Read this sentence before that.
The thick, blubbery hide over the stomach fights me, and I snarl as I put both of the hands on the handle of my blade and use all my strength to cut deeper, wider. A blood-stained hand emerges. Human fingers reaching and frantic. What do you want? Joy blasts through me, and I continue cutting. My mate, she lives.
And then she's also cutting too, somewhere.
She is, but first is her hand. I don't know what to tell you. That's why the bird crashed. I don't know.
Well, congratulations, Erin.
Yeah, I got something one time because it was right in front of me. Somebody's going to always have notes in the future. She's never going to forget this. She's going to wake in the middle of the night and be like, that one time Erin knew and I didn't. I must take more notes.
So she swan dives out of this bird. She's covered in gore. Covered in gore. She's gasping for air. He's holding her with all of his might. And he's like, my mate. I was going to kill myself because I'm totally useless. I'm so glad you saved yourself.
No.
And then
it's way more eloquent than that.
Well, he might also say something like, face. I'm so glad that I didn't cut you when I was willy-nilly slashing and stabbing at this bird.
His thumb smooth over her rounded cheeks. I will keep you safe You are mine. That is all you need to know. If you are taken, I will come after you. If you are sick, I will never leave your side. If you leave, I will follow. You will never be without me because I will come after you. Know this. I brush my fingers over her breast where her kui thrums. Feel this and know it to be true. And she interrupts him and says, but we're not, because she's the worst. And he continues like the warrior barbarian he is.
Yeah.
And when you are well, I tell her in the same firm voice, cutting off her protest before it starts, I will lie down with you in the furs and I will take you as mine. We will mate until you carry my kit, which is what they call babies. It's gross. Then resonance will be sated. But do not seek to tell me that you are not mine yet, because you have always been mine.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay, so that might be more romantic than what I came up
It
with.
was really nice. It's in
but
my
mine
vows
was
now.
probably more accurate.
That's what my vows are going to be.
Oh, I like it.
If you leave, I will follow you wherever you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can that be my reading at your wedding?
Melody would like to do a reading from Sex Planet Ice Barbarians, fucking you real good. You can get up there on the little podium, in the little book.
Oh, David's family would love that.
No, we'll have you do like, love is patient, love is kind, and then have
How
like
dare
somebody
you.
else do Sex Planet Ice Barbarians.
I am already wearing orange for you, you motherfucker.
But just imagine though, if you did like the regular, like the love is patient or whatever, and then like we made some other bitch read Sex Planet Ice Barbarians.
Fucking you real good.
All right, okay.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, sorry.
So, sorry everyone. Okay, so then they go back to the cave, and there's this time where he's taking care of her, and she's like, no, but I just want you to put it in me. And he's like, you're too weak. And she's like, stop saying that out loud.
Oh, you know what? This is where they kiss. It's after this. They talked about it before, but it's here where they start kissing. Sorry, they were talking about kissing each other on their bodies before, and I got confused. I apologize.
Yeah, and so this is how it happens. This is why. I knew it. So,
my God.
She is... she's like...
Can see the force of her being right after being wrong once in her whole life. I knew it. It's fueled by dark chocolate and indignance right now.
So she's like, I need you to put it in me. And he's like, you are too weak. You are too sick. We need to take care of you. And she's like, all right, fine then. She tries to backdoor it on him. And she's like, I want to practice kissing. And he's like, kissing? You want to practice kissing?
He knows what it is now. They've already talked about it. Don't even.
No, it says something like that. It says like kissing question mark?
No, because she says
kissing?
he does this like a smooch, like a chaste smooch on her. And she's like, okay, there's different kinds of kissing. Like there's French kissing. And he's like, French kissing. So he knows kissing, but the French is like a whole different level of pronunciation for him.
Yeah, fair enough.
But, it's on TM, and then they do it.
Isn't this where we find out about the spur?
Yes.
Up until this point, granted, if you are a regular reader of Ruby Dixon, you were introduced to the spur way up top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as a person who started at book 7, my note is, what? Because
sure.
I had no idea. So, guys, there is this protruding...
Yes.
A protuberance is what I'm going to call it.
Uh-huh. It's like one of those dildos that has the thing for your clit. It's one of those.
It's like a rabbit, yeah, except that it's not, because A, it doesn't vibrate, and B, it's made
I don't know that to be true.
Question mark?
Bone?
It they say, I'm hoping it's more like cartilage, and even that seems like it would be. Yeah, so this is what I'm saying.
Urged that.
I have some hesitation about the spur because, I am a lady who needs clitoral stimulation to come. I will just put that out there. Bing, boom, bong.
Beep, boop,
beep,
bird
boop,
click.
bird
TMI
click.
with Melody.
That's the one. I need clitoral stimulation, right? However, I am not sure that like a bone coming at my clit with like the hammering motion of a 7-foot alien is what's gonna do it. That just seems like it's a recipe for a clit rupture ? I'm just not sold. I appreciate the nod to, you know, some clitoral stimulation being needed and not just having like magical penetration orgasms all over the place. But if this thing is made of bone, like what I really wanted it to be is just like second tiny dick, you know? Like it just gets full of blood. Like
I want to go on record as no on second tiny dick.
No, but I mean, like it's something that's a little bit softer.
I want to be very
firm blood
about my protest. The second tiny dick.
No. I mean, as in, like, it's full of blood, not bone. Or, like, maybe if it was cartilage, that could be good, but then it seems like it would hurt him every time it goes ka-tank into my clit.
Oh, God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know how this is going to work. I'm already going to be pretty overwhelmed by his, like, 12-inch penis. I just don't know. Also, in earlier books, they talk about the fact that they normally, like the aliens can't do doggy style because they both have tails. But when the ladies do doggy style with them, it's extra fun because the spur goes into your butthole.
Okay. Oh, God.
But again, if it's made of bone, I'm sorry, I don't think I'm into it.
I was going to say a different thing, and then I heard what you said after I started talking, and then I had to, like, totally recalibrate my brain. Because now there are two periods of my life before I heard that and then after I heard that. Okay. But speaking of the tails and spur penises, remember when I told you about the horrifying kangaroo penis I saw that time on the internet? When I Googled kangaroo penises? Well, what had happened
I wasn't that horrified by it.
Well, are you kidding me?
I mean, it's unsettling. But I wasn't, like, horrified.
It is unsettling. But I had Googled kangaroo sex because I was just sitting around one day thinking about kangaroos. And then I wondered how they had sex because the tails are so large and muscular. And the front, you can't really get to. If you think about the shape of a kangaroo and how they are.
Yeah, how do you do that?
How do you have sex? So I Googled up, nature video. How do kangaroos have sex? And instead, I got a picture of a kangaroo penis, and it was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life.
No, you forget that I bred pigs in high school. I've seen, like, the crazy corkscrew dick that's like, pig penises. Yeah,
don't Google that kangaroo sex. Also, when I did see the video of the sex, it was not, did not seem, like anyone was enjoying that, and that
pleasurable.
Was no. So don't Google that one. You don't care and you don't want to know. Okay, we're back in. They have sex.
I'm sorry.
What?
So they do some sex, and even though I have my hesitancy, I'm hesitant. It works for Josie. It works real good. She loves that spur. The spur does all the magical things to her clit. She has like 17 orgasms. It's great.
Yes.
And then they are mated for real. It is written. And then they go back to the cave, right? They make it back to the cave.
Yes.
We just go. Oh, no. I'm sorry. No. So he says, Hayden's like, you can't walk anymore because you're teeny tiny and you're bird snack size.
This is rough.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
So what he does.
Oh, I hated it.
I mean, it's also a little disturbing, but also hilarious. So he makes her a papoose. And he's like, you're gonna ride on my front, and I'm gonna put our packs on my back, and we're gonna make it back to the cave that way, and we will be one, and it'll be great. Except that their cooies are still going crazy because she does not have a baby in her yet. And so she actually says later on that, like, every 30 minutes they have to stop and, like, fuck real quick. He just, like, pulls her loincloth aside and pulls his loincloth down. And then they finally just decide to leave their pants, like, off/askew so that they can continue just, like, having sex standing up every once in a while.
It's ridiculous. And they keep doing it. It happens, like, 3 times. May I read you?
And then in her inner monologue, it says, except, like, he stops to fuck me every half hour.
Yeah. insane.
Like, we see it 3 times. We do not see it.
Yeah, but really
the
did
27
it like probably
times it happened.
Yes.
Amazing.
May I read you the most melody passage that's ever been written in a book?
Always.
Sorry, this is back a little ways, but I went back to find it because I realized we missed it. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I nod. He says, "Do you like it when I touch your nipples?" She says, okay, I nod. "It feels almost as good as when you touch my pussy." Pussy? I'm so not explaining that word to him. I point primly. He grins, looking smugly pleased. "Your cunt." And he reaches between us and cups it because he's a bold son of a bitch. "Your warm, wet cunt." A little hitching moan escapes me. That's the one.
Yeah.
That was me throwing my Kindle down. This is a woman explaining to an alien barbarian that her pussy is called a cunt, him calling it her cunt, and then her saying, that's the one. Are you Ruby
right.
Dixon?
I think so.
It's possible. Anyway, okay, so they get back to the camp. We can really wrap this up pretty quick here.
We can, yeah.
They get back to the
camp.
camp.
The rest is just like plot.
The rest is
like
really just setting up
plot.
the next book.
Exactly.
A bunch of the aliens go get the 2 ladies out of the pod at the ocean. She realizes she's pregnant from the 50 times she had sex with him over the past week or so.
On the walk alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He leaves. She wants to go with. He doesn't let her. It doesn't matter. She stays back at the cave. He goes with a team to go get the ladies. I remember that little notch you put in your memory an hour and a half ago?
Wait. Not yet. Because there's a lady who goes with them, and she goes with her mate, and they talk about the big birds who are hungry and coming more inland.
Yes.
And so instead of making a papoose where he can just fuck her anytime he wants, he just ties a rope around her waist and around his waist so that they'll, like, get taken together.
Yeah, I don't know how that helps the situation, to be honest with you.
Because I think he can then attack the bird from the outside.
No, I don't think so. I was just like, no, he would just be dangling there. And then the bird would just eat him too.
Attack.
No.
That's Ehako. He's capable of some things. All right.
So
sorry, back to my notch.
Yeah. Remember that notch? Okay, when these 2 ladies fall out of the pods, Hayden, in his narrative, is like, I've got to like make sure that I'm standing in front of the other males because they might try to force resonance sex on them. So all that stuff about human males force sex on ladies? What is humans?
Does
Space
it actually
barbarians
say
don't
sex?
know. No, it's resonance. It says they try to force resonance on them.
So that's different.
Oh God, but they don't even have cooies. Those ladies, they don't have cooies in them.
No, but the aliens, I learned this from previous books. The aliens can resonate on people who don't have cooies. It just won't be reciprocated until they have a cooie.
But isn't it a joining of cooies is the whole point?
Listen, it's a little bit convoluted.
What is the cooie even like about that person?
It can tell that they would make strong babies. I don't know how before there's another cooie in there analyzing their DNA and communicating between cooies. But
okay,
that's
fine. Okay,
what it's like.
Never mind. Anyways. The ladies fall out of the thing. They bring only one lady back. That's a mystery for the next book, I guess. And
I'm pretty sure one of those hunters fucks off with her.
Yeah. But the sister, so they're sisters, and the sister's real mad. And she's like, I want to talk to the guy who's took my sister away. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What's her face is pregnant, and Hayden's real happy about it. And they go back to their luxury cave, and they fuck all day. The end.
Yeah, they do. The end.
Yeah.
Oh, Ruby, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving us another obsession that I can just delight in, because these are so yummy. These are so good.
They are. They're really good.
And they're snippy snappy.
Yeah.
All right, Erin, what is your lady love?
Here's the thing, guys. The best lipstick on the market is Bare Minerals Matte.
No.
Whatever.
No.
Gen Nude Matte.
Probs not.
Lip Stay. Tastes like chocolate.
Sure.
But if you're going to go with a lesser lipstick, like Maybelline Super Stay Ink lipstick.
You bitch.
If that's the route that you're going to go.
You bitch.
Did you know that there's a new extra line of colors of it?
No.
I don't know if it's new or not, but I don't even remember where I was this week, but I ended up in a Walgreens and they had more colors than usual. Like a whole other thing. And they're called, it's the City line. There's more newer ones. And
That's so exciting.
Lover's in my shade, like that's about as dark as I go. But it's a little too pink for me. I look better in oranges. So if you are somebody who likes the color of Lover, but it's a little too pink, may I recommend Self Starter, which is the perfect shade for me, Erin.
Ooh, I am going to look at Self Starter because the only thing I don't like about Lover is that it's a little bit too pink.
Self Starter is a little darker. So it's a little more bold, but that won't bother you.
Okay.
Slightly.
No, it won't. That's awesome.
Yeah,
okay.
It's an incredible shade. If only they made it in Bare Minerals Gen Nude.
Oh my God.
If only, because that is the superior lipstick. All right.
My lady love is, I feel like I just reuse this one all the time. Basically, like, make good choices for you. Because I need to have a fairly low sugar diet. Because otherwise my ADHD brain goes a little haywire. And there was a period around all of our birthdays where I was just consuming as much sugar as I could pack into my body. I was sneaking cupcakes. I was like making candy runs that nobody knew about. I was doing all the things that were not great. And I had such mental fog, and there was a big mental lag like in my conversation. I couldn't remember things that I was supposed to do throughout the day. Like, it was really bad. And then I made a commitment to myself that I was going to decrease the sugar and really amp up the protein, because that's what my brain needs. And since then, and also since trying to get back into exercising, because I also need to expend a lot of excess energy so that I don't get stuck in my daydreams all throughout the day, I have been feeling so much better and so much more capable, because when I get in spirals like that then reinforces a lot of my natural negative self-talk that I always have to check myself on. And I knew every time I reached for another cupcake, or I got like a jar of frosting and a spoon, I knew that I was not going to feel better afterwards, but I just kept on spooning out that frosting and doing it really furtively. I was doing it like a squirrel in a little den, because my kitchen is closed off, and so I can hear when people are maybe walking toward me. And so I would like hurry and sneak a spoon of frosting and then like try to put it back really frantically. So because I am a rodent of unusual size. Yes. So anyway, try to really, really check yourself on things that you know are not going to be helpful.
Yeah.
So that's my lady love.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I feel so much better.
All right. Yeah. You can find us on Twitter at heaving_bosoms, on Instagram at heaving bosoms, on Facebook, Heaving Bosoms Podcast, on Gmail. If you want to send us an email, heavingbosoms_podcast@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
The club, the cult, the group, free except for your possessions, is the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult.
Mm-hmm.
What else? We've got merch on Redbubble. If you want a shirt that says TMI with Melody, or a shirt that says Logistics with Erin, or a shirt that says Bing Boong Bong, or whatever your heart desires, you can get it on Redbubble.
There are tote bags.
Yeah, everything you could ever want.
And our Patreon.
Oh, and
Check out
our
our Patreon. It's patreon.com/heavingbosoms. There is a bunch of bonus content.
We just recorded a couple of tinglers that
oh my god
are the hardest we've ever laughed on the podcast, and unfortunately only a couple hundred of you are going to hear it. Oh my god, it's worth it. I can't wait to relive it.
Yeah, and at this point, $5 a month gets you all bonus content.
Yes.
And right now, I think there's at least like 40, at least. I haven't counted
something
recently,
like that.
But there's a lot of bonus content.
Yeah.
So time's now, you guys.
Yeah, and the spring gifts are about to go out if you're one of the book, novel / mug people. So I'm sending those out here in the next week or so. Or if you're listening to this in a week, maybe I've already sent them out, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So that's it. Keep being a badass.
And love yourself as much as you love beep boop bird clip.
What is it? What did it even mean? You've changed the podcast forever.
No, I promise we'll go back to Bing Boom
Yeah,
Boom.
unless we're doing another alien sex book. That'll just be the one we use for aliens.
Yes.
Could also be a contender. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. I love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you too. Bye. Oh.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.